All right, let's play a thought experiment. Let's pretend that you are the business owner of Allegiant. You have a location in Santa Monica, which is about 5 blocks south of an evacuation zone. The Pacific Palisades are burning on fire. You have friends losing their houses. Thursday night, air quality is really bad. So you're trying to decide what to do about Friday. You've got a full slate of classes, trials, personal training, consultations. Do you make the call to cancel it and remove everybody from the sessions, risk getting some trials out of there that potentially want to train with you and might become a member? Or do you stay open? That was the decision that we were faced with yesterday. What we decided to do was cancel classes Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I called our staff in Santa Monica. They, just talking to them in their voice, they didn't feel comfortable about coming up here. And he said, I think all the members are gonna understand. But the hard part is that I didn't really have a feel for it myself. Then I was sitting at home on Friday. I decided, you know what, I gotta drive up there and see what's actually going on. And so there was no traffic on the road. Some businesses are closed, some are open. There is way less people in the area. And so the decision is like, okay, January is one of the biggest months for businesses, so we don't want to impact that negatively. But at the same time, we don't want to jeopardize our staff's health or the members' health. So in retrospect, what I think I should have done is just closed on one of the days. So we didn't make a full, because things are changing so quickly. And the area that we're in seems to be safe enough right now. And I think for our members, they probably would appreciate having that outlet to go to. Now, what we did is we gave them free drop-ins at the Century City location or the South Bay location, so they could go and try those out. And maybe there'll be some positive things that happen. Maybe they trained with a friend or something like that they didn't meet in one of those other locations that never would have happened had they not had this opportunity. Now where I'm thinking is we're gonna be open on Saturday and Sunday, or do we just ride it out through the weekend? Because I don't think many people are gonna show up. I know a lot of people are leaving out of LA just because of the air quality. I went over to Bodega to get a coffee, and usually that place is popping in the morning. You can't find a seat, but there was about 4 people in there, but the business was still open. So there's a payroll consideration, like, okay, you gotta pay staff, but you're not getting customers and you're gonna end up losing money that way. And look, I know this is not about business and money, and if I'm sounding like a shameless capitalist, that's not where I'm coming from. Because I just got off the phone with a really close friend and a member whose house freaking burned down in the Palisades, and he's trying to figure out his life and what he's gonna do with his kids, and heavy. This shit is real. That's like 3 close people that I know so far that have lost their homes. But where I'm at is trying to make this decision for all the members that we have here to protect the business, to protect the members, to protect our staff, but also not like react too quickly and not be like overcautious. So overall, I think we played it safe under the circumstances. Driving up here and seeing it for myself really helps out. I just finished that Alexander the Great book, and he was always in the fight, always leading the charge, always in the battle. It's different in classical times than it is now with like modern warfare, where you're not gonna see general running into battle with the troops. But back then, it was so important that they would get a lay of the land and actually see it for themselves. And I think that that's a good model for leadership when it comes to making decisions like this. I kind of was just basing it off the data that we had, and I was in the South Bay at 4 o'clock, but operating from a place of what's gonna be best for our staff, what's gonna be best for our members as we figure this out. We didn't make a wrong call. We didn't make an irreversible call. We made a good decision, just a tough decision.
Getting ready for a meeting with the ad agency to discuss how the campaign's been going so far. We paused the ads in Santa Monica just because of the fires, but we're gonna open it back up here. So I wanna talk about that. I also wanna see which ads are, what up, dude?
What's up?
What up? Doing? I'm doing good. How you doing?
Oh, wow, you're a lot closer. Because I Googled it and it said it was like, maybe it was a different Palisades.
No, Pacific Palisades is the next. It goes like Santa Monica, Brentwood, and then Pacific Palisades. So it's like, yeah. So the fires were burning. There was an evacuation zone, which was like, hey, be prepared to evacuate. And then Allegiant was like 4 blocks south of that. Just got off the call with the advertising agency trying to figure out how we get this Santa Monica campaign to pick up. And these fires are definitely not going to help because the overlapping area in Meta, when you select your radius to advertise to, like half of it was the Pacific Palisades. So it doesn't make sense to be spending advertising dollars on a place that just literally got decimated and all the homes are burned down. So my message to them was like, hey, what voodoo magic, black magic can your media buying team do? Can we do zip code targeting? Should we do interest-based targeting? Should we do lookalike audiences? Like, we've never tested anything like that. It's always just been sort of female 25 to 45 and like cast the radius and then boom, that's it. And they might say like, hey, that's the most effective way to go. But honestly, we've been doing that for damn near a year now, and we just don't have the volume and success that we need. So my message back to them was like, yo, we need to, like, let's dig deep here. Let's find some other creative things that we can try and test. And if they don't work, well, at least we know that we tried different things. And let's be scientific with how we like decide to try these things. So like, what are our top performing ads from a lead generation standpoint? I want to know, of the 50 members that I gave you that we closed, what ads did those come back from? And then we can see, ideally, we could find one that has the highest volume of leads and the highest close percentage. It probably won't be that easy. We'll probably find it's not going to just pop out. But at least we're looking at it and we can see some sort of data, and we can start to make some decisions based on all the money that we spent and the people that we've closed, data-backed decisions. And then if I got to spend more money on advertising dollars, I will, as long as we're getting the ROI there. So we just made the call to open up Allegiant Santa Monica on Saturday and Sunday. So I got up there today. I trained. I walked around the area. About Bodega, which is the coffee shop right across the street, is usually freaking packed at like 9 a.m. with people. There was like 4 people there. But I think for us, just a part of like, 1 is the community going to be safe if they work out there. 2 is our staff going to be safe. And then 3, just some semblance of business as usual, right? It's not going to be the most packed classes that we've ever had, but just giving the community and our members some semblance of a routine and something that they know that they can go and do and burn off some stress is important for us to be able to provide to the community. Like, if everybody's shut down and nobody's open, then like the vibes are bad. And I think about it more from that standpoint of what do the people need? What does the community need? And can we safely do all this? So that's why we decided to open it back up after thinking about it a lot. So one side of me was thinking, man, do we just stick to our guns and not open if we already sort of said we're not going to be open? And I don't want to like send another email that's like the easier thing to do would just be kind of stick to the plan and just open back on Mondays. But what's the right thing to do? And I think in this case, it was more right to open up. And I think for the reasons listed before, that was greater than us sort of staying closed and not having to send another email. So I just put together another email and I sent it out to the members, and I was just being transparent about like, here's how we're thinking about it. I went up there today, I walked the area, I got a feel for it, I got a workout in just to make sure that the air quality was good enough for everybody and nobody's gonna feel like they're gonna get hurt or unhealthy. And if you want to come in and train, come in and train. This morning I'm doing some research on content that I'm gonna make on a short form piece of content, looking at some things in the advertising and marketing world. And I come across the name and I'm like, wait a minute, I know that name. I've seen it on a license plate in Manhattan Beach. Well, turns out one of these huge successful agencies, turns out the founder of the agency lives down the street in one of the sickest houses in Manhattan Beach that I always walk past, and I'm just looking at it like, man, whoever owns that made it. Like, you made it. You built a custom house, like you have the sick car. And it's all really beautiful done. There's an Eames chair in it. And immediately where I thought to myself, I'm like, I need to meet this person. And the first thing that I thought about was like, go up and just knock on his door. Now I know that sounds crazy, but at the same time, it also is like a level of initiative that somebody like that is gonna appreciate. And if I can do it in the right way, I'm a neighbor, I can not seem like a crazy person, I'll dress nicely. But if I can establish that as a mentor, and I could get some sort of rolling cadence where I could talk to a person like that who's been there, done that, and done it through their own creative agency, that would be the sickest thing ever. And I hope that this video I get to come back and look at and say like, that was the genesis of the idea. And I have nothing to really offer that guy in terms of compensation, but there's this framework of learn, earn, return over the arc of your career. And folks that get to that level that have done those things want to give back. They want to help. sometimes you can find the right type of person with like the heart of a teacher that wants to give back and help somebody else send the elevator back down. And so I'm hoping that that's who my neighbor is. Let's go 110 for a double. What do you think? It would be dope to feel like less alone on the journey of figuring all this stuff out and talking to somebody that's been there, done that, starting in their own company, and a little bit further along the line. Because when you're in it, like the day-to-day, man, it can get dark and deep. And to talk to somebody else that's like spit out the other end with a level of financial success. Now, I have no idea if this person is just a complete emotional wreck or what their home looks like or anything like that, right? I'm just sort of picturing being able to talk to somebody that started a company and has made it in terms of like the financial and materialistic goals that I would love to have as well, just to get some insight behind the curtain on that. I got 110 on the bar. I went 5 kilos over, 6 kilos over what I'm supposed to. I'm not feeling great today, but I'm gonna get this, 2 reps. Come on. I'm scared, I'm nervous. I got this. Because what's the worst that could happen? He says no. Or more likely, nobody answers the door or somebody else answers the door and they turn me away, which is most likely what will happen. But if they say no, I'm in no worse off a position. But if there's a yes there, from an educational learning standpoint, it could be tremendous. Like who knows what could spur from that. But if I don't ever do it and if I don't ever ask, I got 0 chance of anything good ever happening. And going to a marketing guy and an advertising guy like that, I'm gonna have to have a good intro and hook. I'm gonna have to communicate my message clearly and concisely. I'm gonna have a clear ask. I'm gonna make sure that I frame it in such a way that it doesn't feel like it's taking a bunch of his time and taking the friction off the table where if nobody likes it, you don't gotta continue. Why wouldn't you accept that? So I didn't even think about outreaching to somebody like that. Well, you do your research. You look into it, but you don't want to be too specific, too weird. And you don't want to lead with all the stuff that they've done that you admire, which is usually what people tell you to do. Kind of kiss them in the ass a little bit. But I get a lot of job applicants and things like that. And when they lead like that the whole way, I just kind of roll my eyes. It's like, you know exactly what they're doing. But if you can tastefully tie it in and get very specific, where you're trying to communicate that, wow, this person did some research, but they're also not overbearing with this approach and like persuasion, then you can strike that right balance that makes that person that reads the cover letter, whatever it is, like, this person's got something. You could even frame it like if you printed 2 letters, one was a long form and one was a short form, like long copy, short copy. And if both were really good, but you kind of let him decide or that person decide which one they would want to read, that could be a cool, kind of funny way. Somebody that writes a lot of copy and advertising would understand that. If you're listening to this, you're like, what the hell is he talking about? It's more of an insider kind of joke thing, but could be another nice, unique approach.